All right. We are going to watch and go over one of the fights from the May 30th Smoker at Nonantum. First one we're going to watch is Mayhem, Matt Mayhem Moore. This was a tough one. So this is it's reminiscent of Garen's Haymakers fight, where you've got the other boxer, I forget his name off the top of my head, over from STC, young kid, girlfriend's at the fight. This kid doesn't want to do rounds, wants to get the knockout. And so that's not really, if you're sort of new to this channel, to this kind of conversation, smokers aren't, they're not fights. They're not designed for winners or losers. There are no winners or losers. You're not supposed to go for the knockout. You're supposed to get your rounds in. You're supposed to get your work in. There are things that you're working on, and these are the times that you get to work on it, and you're in front of a crowd. And fighting in front of a crowd is always difficult. In the beginning, some people, they phase it out. It's nothing to them. Some people, it's a big deal. You get in front of a crowd, you're under the lights. There's a lot. So in this instance, the first thing that sort of goes off the rails is this, and by the way, not in a bad way. Kid's not a dick. It's just he was there to, just to fight, and get a knockout in, not to work on some things, not to get the rounds. Anyway, so what we'll do is, I thought, Matt, I thought you did a lot of things right. And we'll go over, because I know Matt had reached out. He's like, he wanted to know, at least something he can take from this. From memory, I don't remember you doing anything wrong or bad. I remember you doing a lot of things right. So this will be our chance to review and take a look at it. So let's go to the tape. All right, here we go. Just going to turn that down a bit. All right, so they get their final instructions. All right, and here we go. So out the gate, I know I always stop things like 1 second in. What I like is Matt did not run out to meet him in the 50-50. He comes out, moves to his right, and establishes a position, establishes sort of, we're not going to run in and meet and fight. We're gonna move. So I liked that positioning. Boom, right there. So what you saw is they both threw jabs. Matt slipped the jab and threw the jab. And, again, that was great. So, Matt, again, that's something you did super right. Whoa, right there. Super right. You got your head. Now you can see here's the problem. Not something you did, but you could see you've got the jab to the belly. He lands the jab to the head. Right hand to the head is always going to be more powerful than the jab to the belly. The jab to the belly is going to take air out of the tires, but that punch to the head, the judges see that, and also you feel that. So let's back up. We'll just back up again. Great beginning. And again, you did the right thing there with the jab to the belly. I need to slow this down, because what we want to see is, when you come up. So a big issue that I see a lot with fighters is, we slip, we come right back into position looking pretty. We don't put anything in between us and the opponent. So let's see what happens here. All right, one more time, because it was a good slip with a jab to the belly. This is a great position. You slip that punch, you land the jab. You slip, you land. Now here's where things get spicy. You parried the jab. So again, Matt, that's perfect. That's where the danger comes in. When you come up from a shot like that, you are defensively responsible. So now you're coming in to work. He has the high hand position. What we know is you're going for the jab to the belly. So that high hand position doesn't necessarily mean much, because we know what's happening here. You're going for the jab to the belly, and we could see what's happening with his right hand. So that's what we want to see. Beautiful Beautiful parry. Yeah, I, I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know what you could have done differently there. Sure, hindsight, you could say anything. Well, don't throw the punch or boom, boom, boom. But in what was happening, I don't see anything. I don't see anything terrible. That's a great move. Yeah, one thing I hate about this type of headgear, you have no visibility. I don't know if you could have, because this is getting thrown a little wild. I don't know if with in different headgear, if you would have seen that coming and rolled with it and under it. So yeah, that's just it's just that's and that's a big hit. That was a big hit. A nice recovery. Big hit. What I would have liked to have seen, so this is where, and again, and rightly so, this is where there's a little panic here. So you just got rocked. Great decision to circle. We're going to get out of there. What I like, you did not go straight back. You chose to circle. Excellent decision. The problem is you chased a parry and that hand dropped. Your legs, this is a sort of bad position that you're in, but let's back up a little bit. What I would have liked to have seen are jabs. As we're walking to the left, throwing some jabs. So you get rocked there. And just, I think, lost a little. Boom. So let's see what happens here. So again, he had high hand position. And that's how that jab got in there. And he's fast. And he's younger. And I think you got him as well. So you touch him with a jab, and he really lets go of that jab cross and steps in. This is something, too, that we need as Lucky Punch boxers, as Alton Street boxers. We've been working on drills for this recently, and that's a little bit more of what we need to do, that just the forward momentum of things. And you could see you hit him. Like you hit him, you snapped his head. But at 20 years old, he doesn't give a fuck. Boom. It was a nice shot. And right there, brilliant tie up. Brilliant tie up. What's about to happen? You're about to get lit up. And what do? You grab on, which is incredibly smart because he's coming to hurt you. Like it's just he is coming. You could see his intention. He's coming to fight. You tie him up. Great. I like that little push too. And great job. So here's a great shot. So again, as we're looking at this moment, you've done nothing wrong. I just want to hold here for a moment because you've got the beautiful shot. He's coming in. I'm sure he's going to turn that over. So let's just see here. Yeah, he turned it over into a hook. But again, you got him with that great and nice little shimmy. You're throwing that jab. He's getting there. Good tie up. Good tie up. So one of the things that's happening is he's getting there first. He's faster than you. So you're doing all the right things. He's just faster. So the question is, so what do I do about that? Great up jab. Now the only problem here is you went straight back. But you didn't pay for it there. Nice. And Matt, great stuff here. Great stuff. Nice slip. Nice work to the body. And nice, like and he's returning. He's like, all right, you're gonna go upstairs, downstairs. I'm gonna go downstairs. Now he starts to. So this is just all very good work. This is very good work. Shot to the belly. This is where he starts to turn up the pace. So now, what happens here? So the question becomes, all right, so he's fast. What do you do about it? One thing that we want to do is we don't want to get into a toe-to-toe firefight with him. That's one thing, because he's going to outwork us. We could still land, we'll land, let's say, 2-3 shots to every 5-6 of his. So it's not like we're, not doing anything. It's just he's outworking us. So one thing that we want to do is we want to move. So, for example, here, that's where we disengage. We da-da-da either to the left, we da-da-da to the right, we set up a position, and then we make the momentum have to start over. Then we can, a little scrappy to that we have to disengage. There's a Conor McGregor expression that's always kind of stuck with me about timing beats speed. So it's going to be a matter of timing him. And the best way to time him is if we have separation, we create space, we have separation, that gives us time to see, to think, to decide. It gives us time to see, gives us time to time him. And I like, he disengaged there. So Matt, that's good work there. Nice use of that snake charmer. Notice the time that you buy with the snake charmer. Snake charmer, you bought all sorts of time there. You weaponized it into a jab. And then he comes over the top. This is the punch that rocked you. He comes over the top, and it was, good. It was just, let's see how that happened. All right. And this I don't usually like. You know what? Because, fuck it. We got the technology. Let's just do this. So let's see how he's able to come over the top. So excellent job with the snake charmer. What I'm looking for is so already here, he establishes high hand position. Notice this is here, this is here. Notice you're going for the hook. I was going to say you're going for the hook, but it looks like so is he, unless that's more of an up jab. But what's happening is he has higher hand position. High hands on him. Boom. You hit him with that. You got him with a nice hook. He went over the top and hit you. I don't know exactly so my thinking here is, what could you have done differently there? In the moment, nothing. You were throwing an intelligent choice. So the thought is that with someone as such a heavy hitter, that you want to be in a more unicorn guard or a more high horns or binoculars. For that meaning unicorn, you have that lead hand, your left hand, like really established like a unicorn, like right, not in the top of your head, but up above that left eyebrow, taking away that straight right hand target, and in a position that you can move it to block like an overhand right. So it's in that sort of unicorn position above that left eye. That's what we mean when we talk unicorn. So that's something in between rounds that would have been, all right, we need more space, we need unicorn guards, and we need those great moments that you're having when you are in the 50-50 and you're able to get the work in. Like, beautiful job here. And now we start our circle. He's got high hands, and you can see he's developing momentum. And just that shot right there. And you could see it turn the headgear. It was just a big, big fucking shot. So in the moment, there's nothing you could have done different. There's nothing you made a good decision. It's just he went over the top with that hook. So then it's like, all right, then that's the wrong punch to throw in that position. and he likes that looping right hand. So again, that's where this is a great. So now we got to keep that left hand sort of in that high horns, in that unicorn, by that head to negate that shot. You could still work your jab. And what happened there, that's interesting. So let's take a look here. What I think what I think should have happened is after there should have been a bigger disengagement from you. So here now we disengage. He's got the momentum. So it's sort of like icing the kicker, or I can't think of any other sport thing where you try to slow down the action. And now just because what happened there, that was such a big shot from him. I mean, gorgeous right hand. Let's watch that again. Sorry to make you relive that. Matt, you might want to look away. I mean, it's just he just has that. It's a brilliant right hand. So what you're doing is you're working a little bit of your Shakur tap. The tap is low. We don't have the upper hand position. So if you watch what you're doing with your lead hand, see that little that should have been a little higher, maybe a little bit more threatening, or a disengagement, because it allowed him to come over. Again, he is taller, so we gave him the space to do it. I get what you were doing. You were trying to occupy space. That your hand position was too low. And then the rest is sort of. By the way, once again, you're hurt. You got hurt, and you tied him up. This is when we talk about tie-ups. Why tie-ups are so important. Why they're so good. This is just such a great tie-up moment, and beautiful. And you don't let go. Just beautiful work. And then I think here, rather than sort of waiting, maybe honestly, maybe you start heading towards the ref. You know what I mean? Like now there's a disengagement. The ref has to move as well. I think that would have been helpful here, rather than just kind of stand in the ground. And nice, when you miss that hook, put your body weight on him. Right there. So you see you had your elbow on him, just for future reference. You miss a hook like that, you don't have to withdraw it so quickly. You put your body weight on, especially a big kid like this. Boom. We don't want to give him an opportunity. Great. See, now the lead hand is in the high hands position. You got higher hand now. And that's a great position to be in. And this is all really good work. But then, and what happened there? Your hand, again, this is where he's just faster. You had your hands in the right position. Look where your hands are. You had your hands in the right position, that right up by where they need to be, and he's just fast. And you just got hit with two big 1-2s. And I think the ref made the right call. And I know this sucks, but again, you did so many things right. There are, in the few moments where there are mistakes, or like even that last one, there was no real mistake there. There's no mistake. He's fast. It was just, you guys finish. You're here. You're moving around. The only thing one could say is, rather than more movement, rather than sort of small steps and just maybe more da-da-das. If we're here, boom, dot, da, da, dot, da, da, and keep that distance because maybe we were too close. But again, that's all. That's all just kind of hindsight. It's after we see what happened in the moment. Especially in round one. But what I'm struggling with is as a coach, it's my job in those moments that to be yelling more dot da da. So let's. I just want to go to see if I am yelling anything. Great tie up. Good. There's that jab working.
Good defense, Matt. Beautiful.
10 seconds.
Yeah, there's 10 seconds. This is where it gets just a big shot. You could hear what was funny. We talked to his corner after. They were telling him throughout the fight. If you watch this fight again with the sound on, just watch the whole thing without me blabbering over it, and you can hear his corner being like, "Stop going for the knockout." I guess Jeff was giving him shit before the fight. Just like, "Oh, you think you're this or that." It was just, Jeff's just kind of egging him on to have this type of performance. Anyway, long story short, there's not a lot you did wrong. There wasn't a lot of wrong being done. The With a kid like that's faster, we need, and for those watching, with kids like that faster, we need more space. We need to create more space, not give them that room to have those little quick steps in and work. We need to be far enough away that they have to come to us, and then we'll pick our spots. So this is a hard fight. So anyway, I'm sort of rambling here. So Mayhem, that's that. All right, great. It was a great night. I hate ending these things. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and Mayhem will see you shortly.